Front of your hand or the back of the hand?
I think it was on my fingertips. I haven't really looked at the film yet.
I mean, how do you kind of describe that twisting turn motion?
I mean, you just starts off with great push. You know, I got great push and allowed me to kind of squeeze my way up there. And when I did, I just kind of threw my hand up there and just got a piece of it.
Is the technique different when you're rushing the passer or stopping the run versus trying to block an extra point or block a field goal?
No, it's actually very similar. You know, one thing D linemen preach is getting off the ball, good hat and hand speed. So if you do that, I feel like you always get good penetration.
Is it just kind of an effort thing on extra points? Because I know a lot of people just turn off the TV when extra points happen. What goes on there?
We definitely feel like it's an effort thing. You know, the extra point is a very important part of the game, as you can see. So, you know, we really focused and worked on it this week, and I really feel like it helped us out.
Did it hurt?
No, not at all.
As the game kind of went on, did you kind of realize that was the decisive moment or one of the decisive moments to block that point?
I didn't even think about it after the game. We're just focused on one play at a time because the minute you start to look back in the past, other teams are going to score a touchdown on you. So we're just focused on what we need to do to get better and just taking it one play at a time.
There's other issues with other special teams. How do you guys respond to some of their issues? The other special teams, there's some issues with some of the kickoff returns and punt returns. What do you try to say as a teammate to some of these guys?
Oh, man, you got to pick them up. You never criticize young teams. We always pick them up and encourage them. We're going to get it fixed during this week in practice, I'm sure of it. So, you got to look at the film, learn from it, and get better and move on.
Do they look good in practice, though? Are these issues happening in practice that we see in games?
I'm not over there during the special teams, so I really couldn't tell you.
Were you on the field for Landon's interception?
Yes, I was.
What was that like?
Oh, it was great. Running down the field, I was tired to go celebrate with him, but it was good. I'm happy for him. He's a great guy. He works hard and he deserves it.
Is that kind of like a big sigh of relief after a close game like that?
Oh, man, there was definitely not a sigh of release because we still had about 3 minutes left. You never know what can happen. So we were just excited for the offense, waiting for the offense to go out there and do what they did, and they came through at the end.
Saban said that was the most emotion he's seen from the team. What do you see from the emotional side of things from the team?
I definitely agree with that. That's probably the most emotion we've shown all year. I feel like we need more of that. A team that's emotionally attached to one another will play harder for one another. I feel like that's a big key of playing defense.
It's almost become robotic in some of these games when it's so business-like. Is it almost like you lose some of that spirit of it?
I feel like sometimes it can, but we've been working really hard, and we're getting closer as the years go on. So I feel like our emotion is growing each and every week.
I feel like the front seven is coming into their own. We've seen guys like Reggie and Xavier who really stepped up this year. I feel like maybe you guys have come together and gelled the front seven.
I definitely believe that. We spend a lot of time outside of football, which I feel like is another big part. So on the field, we know each other's playing style. We can work well with each other. We work well off of each other. So I feel like that's a big part of our defense.
Is this about as different of a preparation for a team as last week as it gets preparing for Texas A&M?
It's definitely a big switch, but the preparation, the intensity is still the same. We take each and every opponent seriously. We knew Arkansas was going to be a good game, so we had the same amount of intensity. Arkansas for FAU, USM, West Virginia, so we have the same amount of preparation and intensity for every game.
How big a challenge? They don't give you much time to affect the quarterback to get sacked or anything, but how big of a deal is it to protect your DBs a little bit, to make them rush, to throw, to affect them?
Oh, we definitely feel like that's a big part of it. We can get a good rush on the quarterback. It'll definitely help out the DBs a lot. So, as I said, we're just all working off of one another.
How different is Hill from Manziel?
I feel like they actually have pretty similar playing style. Great arm, can run, very elusive, hard to bring down, have to contain them. So we feel like they have a pretty similar playing style.
What's the difference this week getting back to some of those quick passes, getting the ball out of his hand pretty quick?
I'm sorry?
What's going to be the difference this week for the defensive lineman in terms of trying to bat the balls down, those quick passes?
I feel like one thing we're taught, if you can't get to the ball, put your hands and bat the ball down. So we're going to be working on that along with getting off the ball, good hand placement too. So we're just going to, we're going to look at the film from Arkansas, take what we can out of it, and just move on to our Texas A&M.
What did you see out of Aishan on Saturday? It seemed like he was kind of all over the place out there. Was that maybe the best you've seen him?
I feel like Aishan, he's good, and I'm happy for him. He's been working harder and harder, been spending more time in the film room, and you can definitely see his hard work pay off this week.
How much is also the knee from training camp when he sprained the knee?
I'm sorry, you have to ask him that question. I really couldn't speak on that.
Thank you.